Good evening and welcome to the first of our news for you since the arrival of Greg Dyke, who has pledged to streamline the BBC by getting rid of redundant grey-suited middlemen. So welcome to my last show. In news this week at Stormont... Thank you.
I should explain to our viewers here, David is at an unfair advantage. He's on a 2-second delay, isn't that right? You're on a 2-second delay, isn't that right? I said you're on a 2-second delay. Would you like some water? Yeah. Now, we should have worked that out. You should have had a glass of water.
Yeah. Yes.
There we are. That's the amazing thing about the channel. Glass turns into plastic. Not now, David, I'm talking. What a booking this has turned out to be. Sorry, David, go on, after you.
Sorry, yes, you were trying to say...
I was just saying, I'm actually in the studio next to Paul. I'm actually in a box.
I wish you were.
Don't ask me what's going on in MI5, I don't know.
You only work there.
Right. He's got John Prescott.
Exactly.
Soon every programme will be made like this. I don't know, Ian knows. Ask him. How's your Buckley card adverts doing?
They're fine, thank you very much. How are your Cuttons Imperial Leather?
Yeah, that was 6 years ago.
Was it?
Yes.
It just feels like
It was good timing, though, wasn't it, the Barclaycard ads? Just as they closed all those branches, you come on.
You have to find some way of paying his fee.
Yeah.
Have you got some BMW ads lined up next, have you?
Oh, we were in the middle of a topic.
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah, stop the news, Chris.
How high up the ladder were you in... I mean, how exactly?
I was just below junior management.
Yeah.
But not publicly speaking. You can turn me off, but you can't silence me.
Oh, no. He's ruined it. Dave.
He's back. Slight technical difficulty over here, David. We lost you for a moment there, not quite sure why.
What's your password? What password do you use, by the way? Or username on the net?
I'm not entirely sure I have a password.
No?
It's money.
Yes, so that was...
Oh, poor Paul. Come on, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
We can see you speaking now.
This is, whilst Paul reads the paper, this is the story of an MI6... an MI6 agent who...
David, 4-letter word meaning door fastener. What do you reckon, lock? It's got to be,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Is this anything to do with people with famous dads? Prince
In what
Charles
way?
got famous... In what way?
I've got a theory. Can I theory?
Yeah, go on, you might as well. David, what star sign are you? What star sign?
Capricorn.
Capricorn. You are
Well,
going to
my
have a
theory is
very
that
dull night. People who you respect will start taking the piss out of you. No, sorry, go on. What's your theory?
Well, Mr. Gerbil is in charge of a large tit, and the other three are tits.
You'll do a joke which won't go down very well.
I have to be quite careful on this question because the man in the bottom left-hand corner pays my wages. So we'll move on.
Suddenly, it's got interesting.
What was that?
MI5, we can only assume, interfering with the pictures. I'm sorry about that. But they all have coats of arms, including Posh and Becks, of course. There we are.
Love, friendship.
Sometimes you feel there just isn't enough vomit in the world, do you?
Stop it, I'm Rolocop is the answer. This is the
the
Metropolitan Police.
rollerblading policeman.
Exactly. We'll have a look at it. Here we
Go
go.
on, police.
Pretty embarrassing.
And there he is with his hands behind his back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very
That
casual.
man's suffering from blur disease. Feel sorry for how can you be blurred if you're sitting still? What kind of photograph is that? The only thing that's moving is it's perfectly pin sharp. I'd get another camera if I was that bloke. Look, the tree's blurred, he's blurred, the grass is blurred. The only thing that's blurred is the bloke that's moving. How
That's
do you
because
work
he's
that
moving
out?
the same speed as the person moving.
Ah, that explains it.
Yeah.
Something like that could confuse a stupid person.
And finally, what to be used in fight against crime?
Transsexuals to be used.
Yeah.
It's not from Transgender
Super
Community
Salmon.
News.
Yeah.
It's not nothing to do with
Super salmon!
Yeah. So we're doing it.
Power of prayer is the
He has to get
answer.
changed in telephone boxes.
What,
Did you
Super
just say
Salmon?
power
salmon?
of prayer?
He did.
Into a what?
What do you mean into a what? Into super salmon? He's an ordinary salmon by day. Then he's on the phone. Super salmon. Do you want spawning, lady? He must know. He must have heard about it. He must have heard about it. Am I the only one that's heard about this?
No, he works for Salmon News during the day. He's got glasses.
That's right, yeah.
Meanwhile,
He
back
works
on
for the
Earth,
Daily Row.
in Dover, the first dog to forge its own passport approaches customs.
Bill Gates lost a lot, didn't he? 17 billion he lost.
Another loser was Yahoo, the internet server, which lost 54% of its value. It's now called Oh Shit. So who was Ken partying with that we saw?
That was Fatboy Slim.
Wow.
Anybody would know that. Who's got their finger on the pulse.
How do you know so much about Fatboy Slim?
He used to be called Slim Boy Fat. And then he put on some weight. And he's one of the world's top rave DJs.
Yes.
I think we're just on the edge of Ian's ignorance. One more sentence should confirm it. What else does he do?
He's responsible for the Ibiza sound.
He's actually working as a lookalike for someone at the moment, as the Mirror pointed out this week.
So you're called Ian Smug Boy Hislop.
Tailors in Hamster Jam.
This is somebody was planning to make I think made a jacket. 100 hamsters have gone into this jacket, and it's been, animal rights protesters said this is terrible. And Jeeves and Hawks, I believe, are the names of the tailors, Savile Row tailors. And
Jeeves, I think you'll find it
Is it Jeeves?
Could be. Yeah. Sounds more likely, doesn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
How's it spelled?
GEI.
I-B.
Oh, that's the thing that threw me, you see. I was following the letters.
Yeah.
So Jeeves and Hawks, yes, that's right. And what have they been
So
responsible
let me see,
for?
Jeeves. How do you spell Jeeves? G-I-E-V-E-S.
Yeah.
Was there a special day at school? Well, they wrote all these names on a blackboard, because I must have been off sick.
I got no sympathy with hamsters. They just sit in cages. We've had loads of them. They sit there and they just die on you and upset you.
Yeah, but that's not the hamster.
This way they get made into a coat. I'm all for it.
That's not the hamster's fault, the fact they sit in a cage. People put them in there. It's like saying Rudolph Hess, all he does is sit around in prison all day.
The anti-fur thing could spread. I mean, what's going to happen to Piers Robes?
Yes.
Who's Piers Robes?
Piers Robes... they're made of... Would you explain to him, Paul?
Piers Robes, it's the ermine when you go
Yeah,
inside.
you're there. You know what it's made of?
Gerbils.
What?
Gerbils.
Gerbils.
No, he was Hitler's propaganda minister. It all comes round in the end.
Yes. Next, a grand day for what?
I know this one.
A grand day for...
For Private Eye, it's this one was.
It is sadly the right answer, yes, Private Eye.
It was in the Telegraph.
And why is it a grand day?
Because it's 1,000 issues, Private Eye.
Is that all you've sold? SAS cross-dresser in what?
In train incident.
Cubicle trashing incident.
No.
He was thrown off a train.
Yes, he was, and it does refer to that, so I'll give you the point. The wars again is what it refers to.
And I happen to know that because I was on the train.
Ian threw him off.
And I met him.
The 6:45 to Hastings.
Yep. He got off at Tunbridge. He came up to me and said hello, and he was an enormous 6-foot bloke wearing a nice little bonnet, a dress, and carrying a sort of fluffy rabbit. And he said, say hello to my stuffed toy. And he's a big bloke. And I said, yeah, hi. This is Joanne White.
Yes, and here he is.
There he is.
So Ian wins based on questions about his magazine and people he's met on the train.
Very unfair.
Is that Gordon Brown? I've never seen him smiling.
No, he's always smiling, Gordon Brown. Never
No,
a
he is.
frown with Gordon Brown.
Well, it looks like it pointing at the boy to me, but there we are.
Ian?
Looks like he's in a Chelsea strip to me.
Looks like he's in the closet, and that's something you know something about.
That's right. Admit it. Admit it. You're a great big puffy boy. Admit it. All these years, he's been doing Jimmy Somerville impressions.
Yeah,
All these years.
Yeah.
And now we know.
He should be told.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm gay.
There we are. Edit it there.
Yeah,
Edit it
you
there.
heard it.
No more. Just edit it there.
Yeah,
Max
first.
isn't a liar. It's Pikachu, I'm afraid, is the custard-coloured mouse, and its 149 friends are the other Pokemon. This is the probably worst and worst drawn film and craze in history of badly sort of conceived little monsters that fight each other. And children trade cards and have a fantastic knowledge of 150 monsters. They can't remember 5 countries and their capital cities. But just about every child in the country can tell you that Charmeleon evolves into Charmander and then turns into Matchop and then kills someone or other. It's absolute garbage. I've got an idea for these medieval history cards that I think are going to be a big hit in the playground.
You're pretty angry about this, aren't you?
I'm very, very bored. I've seen the Pokemon movie, which is probably the worst film ever made on any subject ever.
You haven't seen Kevin and Perry go large, then. It stinks.
So you'll know what the slogan is.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be a kids presenter next.
Well, you already advertise it on BBC television. Wuff Justice.
Well, this has probably got something to do with a dog. But I've no idea.
No.
Not been reading the papers, you see. I've no idea, and I don't care.
Evidently.
I think the quiz element of this show is overrated. I think we should sit around and have a bit of a laugh, and it doesn't matter.
Well,
It's my
Is
new
this
tactic.
new feeling about the quiz element related to the fact that you're 2-0 down this series?
Well, yes, and the fact that I'm 17 series to 1 up.
next mutant lobster is what?
The arch enemy of Super Salmon. It's a battle of wills.
What was the gesture that went with shoe pastry?
I was just saying if it was a cup made of shoe pastry as opposed to
pastry.
crumble.
Right.
Obviously, if it was made out of crumble, it would crumble. But
Yeah.
if it was made out of another sort of pastry,
Right.
I don't know, phyllo, shoe,
Yeah.
it might stay in one piece and you could eat it.
Spend a lot of time in the kitchen, do you?
Yeah. No, none at all, but I do like eating.
Right. I may have to stop you. I've just lost the will to live.
In that case, Ian, keep going.
Good evening and good news for viewers who've seen all 154 episodes of this programme. Nurse will be along with your medication shortly.
Well, they don't want to offend the Chinese when they come over, but they don't mind offending the rest of the country. Well, the people... Sorry, that's a bit serious, but it is true. Ah.
You wish you hadn't said that.
No, I'm fine.
Well, you just made a funny...
Happy to
You
say that.
just made a funny noise then, are you
No,
aware?
I'm sorry.
You're not a robot. Is he a robot?
What we'll probably do is to edit out the serious point and just keep him going...
Actually, before we go any further, can I just
Yes.
check something?
All right.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Are you going to explain to everyone what happened then?
Yes, I read somewhere that one of the critics always thought that you looked particularly well deodorised on this programme, and I was just checking.
And what's the verdict?
One of the critics said the other day, I don't wear any underpants. They got the champagne back, though, because Princess Margaret dived in.
But weren't you very rude about the royal family?
Was I rude about the royal family?
Yeah, well, on NBC TV, you said
No,
they were
I wasn't rude
spoiled
about
brats.
them. No, I didn't say they were spoiled brats. No. What I said was that in certain people's opinion, they leave a spoiled and privileged lifestyle.
So you're distancing yourself from this opinion, it's not yours?
No, I'm just telling you what I did say, which is what you asked me.
OK, but...
So, do you want to go out with Andrew? Another way of chatting her up. I mean, the rest of us can carry on with the programme if you like.
How did Carol then describe Shakespeare, controversially?
Dull as
ditchwater, yes.
Which was a bit sour grapes when you've just failed to get the question right, isn't it?
Yes, from the presenter of Better Homes.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh!
Yes. Good noise, Angela.
Yeah. Do we all get to make a noise on this
I
programme,
like to
then?
think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's yours going to be?
It's like, maybe I should name, you know those sirens that you get, like the fighting on fire engines, that very camp siren they've introduced in London the last 3 or 4 years. You know, you're sort of walking down the street and suddenly you... I always feel it should be like, get you at the end of it. Oh, we're off to a fire. Something like that.
And Adolf Hitler.
He's changed, hasn't he?
That's a hole in his skull.
If you look at it in one way, it could be Peter Pan's silhouette standing in front of the moon.
With a fish behind him.
Yes.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
She has a house in W11, which is where you live, of course.
This is
isn't
true.
it? Yeah.
Do you want to ask her for her phone number, Angus?
You're married to Inspector Morse. That's right, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Go on then, Andrew. Andrew?
Andrew,
See, I am getting very, very old. What's your name? Angus?
It was Angus, yes, when I last left.
Andrew's nice.
Come on then.
As it is a topical news quiz, I feel as if I ought to bring the subject back to the Longbridge plant.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Whatever you think, Andrew.
I can see this one's going to stick. So what was BMW's name for Rover?
Andrew. Have you ever been on a bus, Andrew? When was the last time you were on a bus? Andy, if I may. When was the last time you were on a bus?
Well, fascinatingly, probably last Christmas.
What was special about Christmas?
Yeah.
No cabs around.
I think I was coming back from a party, and I'd missed the last cab. For round 2 tonight, something completely different. And by completely different, I do, of course, mean hugely derivative. Clearly, one of our 4 panellists is at a disadvantage and couldn't be expected to keep up with a grown-up quiz based on topical news events. So to help Paul out this week, we're delighted to unveil our own version of the long-running student quiz, Universally Challenged. So, fingers on the buzzers, no conferring. Is your first starter for 1. Which Shakespeare play features the famous sea battle of Actium won by Octavius Caesar?
Maudlin Hislop.
Antony and Cleopatra.
It is Antony and Cleopatra, yes, very good. And for a bonus point, what was the name of the character played by Sheila Hancock in the film Carry On Cleo?
Can I confer?
You can on these, yes.
Oh, this is shaming.
Cenopod.
It was Cenopod, I'm afraid. Yes, married to Hengist Pod, if you remember.
That's right,
inventor
Dale.
of the square wheel.
Yes, I know it. And I was 5 months pregnant when I did that with my eldest daughter.
Well, it doesn't show.
Oh, God.
So, fingers back on the buzzers. Who is the youngest person ever to have addressed the Conservative Party conference?
Martin.
I don't know.
On a recent visit to Australia, how did Prince Philip ruin £1,000 worth of lemon ricotta cheese?
He refused to wear a special hat.
Oh.
Open Hancock.
I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Your buzzer lit
Yeah,
up.
go on. off
He
you
wore
go.
a hat. He wouldn't wear a hat.
Wouldn't wear a hat.
No, he wouldn't wear a snood. It was a sort of snood thing.
That's right.
That's what you're supposed to wear. Give us a flash of your jacket, talking of clothes. Isn't that nice?
That's a snood.
It's a danger to shipping from where I am.
Earlier this year, the Department of Education pulped 48,000 posters designed to promote literacy. What was the reason?
Prestatyn comprehensive read.
Total guess, I imagine a spelling mistake.
I'd say the same
It
thing.
is a very good guess. Absolutely right answer. The word spelt wrong was vocabulary, in fact. And so for an extra point, how do you spell it?
Vocabulary. V-O-C... A-B-U-L-A-R-Y.
No, I'm afraid you've fallen for the oldest schoolboy joke in the world. You
IT.
actually spell
Oh,
it
I-T. Oh, me.
That's a bit mean.
That is pathetic.
That's a bit mean.
I mean, that...
This is
Sheila Hancock's a respected actress.
This is
You're dragging along here. How do you spell it? She's a respected actress.
Absolutely, I agree.
You're meant to be
Paul.
Jeremy Paxman, not Jeremy Beadle.
And now 5 questions on metalwork. Oh, sorry, I haven't got time for them.
I wouldn't know them anyway.
Which,
I got ungraded CSE.
oh yes.
That was a really weak gong, you know, and I think it goes boom.
Yeah,
well,
I
I think
know,
it should have like a symbol, wouldn't
You
it?
should get the bloke who introduces them films. Rank.
Arthur Rank.
Well, I didn't pry into his personal life. All I know is he used to hit the gong. What he did outside of that is his own business.
I imagine Tatchell must have been expelled at some time. And Chris
Why?
Wood... Well, I mean... he's always making waves, so I can't imagine him surviving at any
Making
school.
waves, eh? That's how they call it.
Hello.
And probably Chris Wood...
I had a fire in my house the other week. Guess who turned up? Oh, look at the size of them flames. Is Prince Philip a part-time fireman? Is this the annual Buckingham Palace I'm a Teapot game?
Next, I had that what in the back of my cab?
Andrew Dayton.
Good evening and welcome to the programme, attacked this week by one viewer who wrote to complain about the random way the points are allocated on the grounds that the level of money wagered on the outcome of this show increases week on week. So our apologies to Mr Joseph Wall of Newark and 1 point to Ian. Well, we don't know. A mystery benefactor offered £400,000.
Mr Ladbroke, was it?
Well, the identity of the mystery benefactor was hinted at in the papers quite recently.
I wish I'd stabbed her now. I could have pinned her to that notice board, basically. She'd have stopped waving after a while, I can tell you.
And did you chat with the Queen Mother?
She talked about you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did.
What did she say about
I've never heard such language in all my life.
Have you interviewed her?
Mo Molam? No, I haven't. No.
Have you interviewed her?
ish at New Year's Eve, and she came on from the Dome. And so I think that she'd had a couple of drinks.
Right.
It's hardly cutting-edge stuff, really, is it? We are told to keep it quite shallow.
Right.
And Mo was right up for that, actually.
It is, yes, Peter Mandelson's controversial speech.
I've interviewed Mo Molan. Next series of Room 101.
Oh, the next series, so it hasn't been out yet?
Yes, hence the word next.
And was it that interesting, or...?
Yes.
Better. She picked you.
Coming on this show is like joining in with the Odd Couple. It's just grumpy old men arguing amongst themselves.
Oh, do be quiet, Clyde. And which country are they modelling this on?
Canada.
Well, no, interestingly,
Canada.
nowhere. Yes, there's nowhere in the world that has a privatised air traffic control system. And you can see why.
Well, nowhere else has got the House of Lords.
Or Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
No. Or you.
No, good point, Paul.
Thank you, Andrew.
Labour New Pains.
No, it's New Labour Pain.
Sorry,
Yes.
I was...
This week's guest publication is Dyslexia Weekly.
What do you mean, how would I tie it in with him being French?
Well, inventing the word lottery.
Is that not a French word? If you say it in a sort of French accent? Lottery?
I think he did say, Louis XIV is famous saying, the state lottery, c'est moi.
There are three people lying. The rest of us haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Speak for yourself, Paul.
No.
There seems to be an unpleasant air in the studio today.
I'm sorry about that.
Yes, you can see colours and auras around people.
I am not wandering into this cul-de-sac, buddy.
How many times have you said that in your life?
Oh, yes.
Can you see a colour around Ian?
Was it brown?
Wow. I can match that, look.
Yes.
Peacocks.
But were you in productions with him? Were you in Macbeth?
He was going to do a film of Macbeth,
Right.
which people kept dropping out of. I eventually got promoted to be King Duncan.
Have you done the Scottish play? You were at RADA, weren't you?
Yes, I was. Yes.
Have you been in Macbeth?
No, I haven't. I've been in As You Like It.
That's the same playwright, isn't it?
It is funny.
Glamorous thou art and Cawdor, and thou shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness shall attend it.
That's fantastic. I've seen this. This is either Shakespeare or Anglo-Saxon. So it must be Shakespeare if it's all one word.
Is the wrong answer. It's Anglo-Saxon. Yes, to be removed from the English syllabus.
It's quite an old
which
story.
syllabus?
They keep proposing this.
Yeah, I know.
It goes back to Chaucer's day, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Have they actually banned it now?
You don't have to do it. It's not a compulsory part of the course.
You have to get a note from
You don't have to be able to recite some switha yelared munuk cum suthan oversea from Sanctus Benedictus Stoa, for example.
Yes, that's all we have time for on Open University. And in South Africa, there's evidence that Robert Mugabe was lying when he said he admired the Queen's new hat. Good evening and welcome to the show in the week when Ian Hislop was asked in The Independent if you had to go on holiday with Paul Merton or Angus Deaton, which would you choose and why? To which he replied, I would stay at home on my own. So that's a relief for us both. Yes.
Isn't there another part of the story here, though, that it was said earlier in the week that they've run out because they haven't got any shells. When they have practice now, they shout bang when they fire a gun.
That's what you used to have to do at school in the Corps. You ran around with a rattle, pretending it was a machine gun. Going rattle, 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 rattle.
In the core?
Yeah.
Ooh, wouldn't you let something slip there? What's that mean?
The corps?
Yes, the core.
The Officer Cadet Corps.
At school?
Were you an officer at school?
Yes, at the age of 11 I was a field marshal.
Have you ever been tempted, Ian, to Stars in Their Eyes?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Which artist of all of them do you think
Ken Dodd. Ken Dodd?
I was thinking of updating it and doing Fat Boy Slim.
That's you in the middle, isn't it?
The heebie-jeebies? Yeah. This is what we call a producer's joke. I wish I didn't
You
know
didn't
any
have
more.
the excuse of being amateur, did you?
Because it's Chelsea Flower Show week, so it's got to be something topical. I think Prince Charles is some sort of flower named after him as well. I think Ken Livingstone hasn't got a flower. He's like, I don't want a rose. So they've had... I think... I am the Eggman, you are the Eggman, goo-goo-goo-goo. I made myself laugh there for the first time since 1978.
British Army full of what, says German minister?
Prisoners, convicts.
Convicts is the right
Soldiers.
answer.
He said the
Convicts.
British Army's full of people they've trawled the jails for.
Yes, it's true.
Rich coming from a German. You bloody dead nose. Twice. Once in 1949 and then in the replay.
1919.
I shouldn't talk the war with somebody who used to be in the officer corps. Did you ever have your boots inspected?
Do you really want to know?
Yes. I'm fascinated.
For what?
It's not I want to be able to see Jimmy Somerville's face in them boots.
I heard you out as a war poet, Ian. I thought you'd have been a Conchi. No?
There wasn't an option.
Oh, the war is very bad. It makes me so very sad.
Siegfried Sassoon, that was.
I'd love to be in Piccadilly with some wench, but I'm stuck here in this bloody trench.
Wilfred Owen.
Yes.
Stands the church clock still at 3, and is there honey still for tea?
Rupert Bear.
Good evening and welcome to the millions of you who've tuned in purely because you saw this in the news of the world. Angus Deaton has landed Madonna as a guest on his hilarious quiz show. Yes, that's right. Welcome to the show that exclusively brings you newspaper clippings that aren't true.
What was that bit at the bottom there that you didn't highlight? They became pals when she recorded a video at his home in his little
I came around to record Match of the Day on the video.
I don't believe your TV's smoothie. Isn't that one of those drinks made out of fresh fruit?
Transvestite smoothie, I think. Which is obviously what you're into tonight.
So, are
At a religious convention, there's evidence that the old joke about the two nuns in the bath is trotted out once too often. There was a point to this rioting.
Yes.
Was there?
Don't just say yes like that.
Why not?
Well, there needs to be an answer to...
Obviously, the way to win this game is
question.
to get the answers from the chairman. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, who
doesn't know either.
knows what's going on? This is part of the Oxford elite. At least Ian's qualified to actually answer questions. Angus has asked them. He doesn't even get to answer them. He might be really thick. We don't know. We've no idea. After 10 years, we just do not know whether Angus is thick or not.
No, that's how
Let's put it to the audience. All those people who think Angus is thick, put your hands up. Overwhelming majority of people think you're thick. You misunderstood the question.
So when are they expecting the big trouble to occur?
During the tournament. England, Germany.
England, Germany is the big one, yes. They fear. And the
Well, there's a history of violence between the two nations. I don't know if they taught you that at Oxford. Were you too busy sitting at the back scratching your mortarboard?
So we leave the world of news coverage as we turn our attention to tabloid journalism. And so we leave the world of news coverage as we turn our attention to tabloid journalism. Two examples of their literary acumen.
And they let you into Oxford.
Take 14.
Yeah.
And so we leave
the world of news coverage. One for each team. Michael and Paul, here's your look at the tabloids. Oh, we don't know what it is. Oh, Ian and... No, I'm sorry, and that is the wrong answer.
It's uncanny.
We could train a pigeon to do what you do.
And can't you just say, here's the next round?
Brilliant. Why didn't we think of that?
Not that you'd ever say that in a pub, obviously.